So we got Perez vs Taira this week. UFC Apex fight night. Coming off the back of Cannonier vs Imavov Louisville. Kiwi MMA. Last week was first week. Second week coming up here. Just a quick recap of last week. Got those ones correct on the screen there, and also those ones incorrect on the screen there. Obviously Imavov beating Cannonier by the sort of TKO in the fourth round. Some people thought it was a questionable stoppage. I think it was coming for Cannonier anyway. I think he was struggling, starting to get behind a bit in the fight, and obviously Ray is back in a big way against Jacoby in the co-main. 8-6 record overall. I'm a bit gutted to miss out on those top two fights. I'm looking to try and obviously get those ones right, because other ones I should know more about. They did pretty well in the prelims, so 8-6 to start off, not horrendous. Just quickly before I get into the main event, just to mention that the Alaskirov fight obviously is off against Praknia, I think it was. Obviously Alaskirov getting called up to the main event of Saudi Arabia next week against Whitaker. And then also the Van and Ulanbekov fight got scrapped today, so lucky I didn't leave these two. Lucky I did leave these so late to do, because otherwise I would be breaking down a couple of fights that are not happening. Alright, so let's get into the main event. Perez vs Taira. I think Taira's got this one in the bag. I think he can get his grappling going. I reckon he'll find the submission eventually. He's a big up-and-coming talent, got some decent wins there. But yeah, Igachari's was a good win. I'm a bit concerned about, obviously Perez coming off the big win against Matheus Nicolau, but Nicolau's a bit chinny, and Perez found the chin, obviously, but the loss to Mikhaev, I just think Taira's striking is leaps and bounds better than Mikhaev's, and obviously Mikhaev's was able to control Perez through the grappling, but I just think Taira's can get this one done. Pretty simple. He's up and coming, 24 years old, 15-0. Actually got some pretty good reach in that for the division. So yeah, I've got Tatsuro Taira to win by submission, and I reckon in round 2 it's going to come after some pressure in round 1. Right, to the new co-main, I guess. I've got, I don't think Johns is going to be able to get Silva de Andrade out of this. I think Silva de Andrade is better, particularly grappling wise. I think he's got the upper hand there. I just wanted to highlight, obviously, Douglas Silva de Andrade's record there, 29-5. 4 of those wins come against Nurmagomedov, Said Nurmagomedov, as pictured there, and Lerone Murphy also pictured there. But his other 2 wins are against 2 losses, pardon me, Piotr Yan and Rob Font. So they're really solid fighters, and the Stamen win, Morozov win, they're pretty good. I think he's going to do enough here. Douglas Silva de Andrade, I think he's going to win by decision. The only thing holding me back here is the age difference. I think Miles Johns definitely has an advantage being the 30-year-old, but Silva de Andrade has that experience, quite a few more fights, so we'll see what happens there. Kawama vs Almeida. Honestly, don't know a hell of a lot about either of these two guys. Kawamba, I believe the loss against Oki was his debut in the UFC, but it was also upper weight class at lightweight. This is at featherweight. The weight class he was probably signed for. Kawamba's a sizable favourite here. I just think Almeida's lost to Sabatini. He doesn't look awesome. Most of Kawamba's work was done on the regional scene, obviously, before he came into the UFC. And yeah, I just reckon Kawamba's going to get this one done here, and I reckon he'll get it done by decision, doing enough to beat Almeida out over the 3 rounds. High Stand versus Armfield. I reckon I'm going to go for... I think I'm going to pick Armfield for this one. The Katona win has aged pretty well. I think that was at UFC 297, I believe. Obviously lost to Onama. Onama's decent. Yeah, I just like High Stand. The loss to Tercios is tough. I don't really rate Tercios. He's everyone saw the fight versus Raul Rosas last week. I just reckon Armfield's going to get done. Armfield's a better boxer. and I think he can probably finish him. I reckon I'm going to go for Armfield and knockout in the second round. I reckon he'll break him down in that first round, then go for the second round finish. Armfield's a sizable favourite in this spot. Reasonably similar in terms of age. Yeah, I think that's how it's going to go. Almabayev versus Johnson. I'm a bit more secure on this pick, I'll say. I've got Almabayev. I think Almabayev is skilled, probably more skilled than Jose Johnson in this spot. Johnson's obviously humongous, 6 foot with a 72-inch reach is just stupid. Coming down from bantamweight to flyweight, I don't think that's going to go well for him. I think Almabayev's going to get him down, and I reckon he's going to sub him. Sub round 2. I think Almabayev will sort of find himself out on the feet in the first round, maybe getting a takedown or two, and then I reckon second round he can go for the kill and get the sub. Last fight of the main card, I believe here. Quinlan versus Fugit, or Fugit. Quinlan, obviously, with that loss to Barlow, he got dropped quite a few times in that. I think I remember watching that one. He's not he's pretty standard, 6 foot 72-inch reach. That's what you should have. Fugit is a little bit taller and perhaps got the reach advantage there. Quinlan, I could see a late TK. I reckon Quinlan's going to win. I reckon he's going to win by decision. I could see a late TKO stoppage, but I think it will end up going to the cards. Fugit has been stopped quite a few times, so it's possible. It's pretty close to the line, but I'm quite confident that Quinlan is going to win. I'm just not sure. Bit undecided between decision and knockout, getting the finish there. Then on to the prelims. So, Ulanbekov Van, obviously cancelled. I think it was today or yesterday. Don't even get me started on the amount of fights that have been cancelled and changed. Although I'm not actually mad at the 303 card. I'm a huge McGregor fan, but I think the card overall is probably better for what's happened. Yuri vs. Alex is going to be cool, but carry on with this. So that's that. Jimmy Flick versus Nate Maness. Maness is a giant favourite here. I think possibly too much of a favourite. Not 100% sure I'm saying that. But I think he's going to do some damage here and get the finish. Jimmy Flick has a chance of catching him, I think. But I think Nate Maness, that's going to be my pick. Gabriela Fernandez is going to go her by decision over Kali Judice. Main reason for this is simply that Judice has 4 professional fights. Fernandez, I think, has 12. I think she's 8-4. Fernandez is the favourite. Irrelevant of that, I think she's got it. I think she will control Judice across the 3 rounds and show her the UFC level. Then we got Jeka Saragi versus Weston Wilson. Now, I flirted with a Weston Wilson by submission pick here, which is quite not really what you would expect, but I did end up going with Saragi by knockout or TKO stoppage. A pretty big favourite, and got a good amount of KOs on his record, some nasty ones, I think. I think he's a big favourite, which kind of indicates what's going to happen, although you can't always go with that. Although, don't be surprised if Weston Wilson pulls off a sub, but that's going to be my official pick. KO by TKO. I reckon it's going to be a good fight. Bit of an interesting one. Next one, Malik excuse me. Let's go Costa. Malik Costa versus Shaylin Nurembeki. I've got Costa here by knockout or TKO. I think it's going to happen in the later rounds. I think he'll pick away at Nurembeki as the fight goes on. I reckon he's going to lead him to getting that late finish. He's a slight favourite here. I've watched Costa a couple of times. He's pretty distinct. He's got this skin thing going on his face, so I remember watching him. And I think I like the pace he fights with. Throws a lot of front kicks, I think. And I think he's just going to break him down and beat him across. Not across the 3 rounds. So I think maybe 3rd round stoppage, late 2nd round stoppage. I can get the knockout. And then the last fight on the prelims here and the first fight of the card overall, Josephine Knudsen versus Julia Pilastri. And I think the Knudsen record is going to stay intact here. Knudsen undefeated record is going to stay intact here. Just getting this one by decision, I reckon. Pilastri, this is her first fight in the UFC officially, off 2 appearances on the Contender Series. She lost to, I think it was Jasmine Jasdavicius in her first fight, and then won her second fight by decision on the Contender Series. I think Knudsen's going to do too much for her here. I reckon she's going to get done by decision. She's a favourite, and I think overall she's just more skilled. Yeah, so overall, I think similar to last week, I wouldn't really tune in unless you've got nothing to do. Main event, I think, will definitely be interesting and worth watching or going back and watching. Probably the only fight with like real stakes on the card, like in terms of what could happen. I'm unsure how the rest of the card's going to fare. Could be boring, could be exciting, but I think it's one of those ones that's going to go either way. The only thing that's positive is all these fights that have fell off has meant that it's quite a reduced number. I think what do we got? 5 prelims and 6, so 11 fights overall, which is quite digestible for a fight night card of this quality. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the card this weekend. Go back and watch the predictions from last week if you want to check how I went. And we'll be back next week, hopefully a little bit earlier in the week next week. We'll see how I get on with some other things. But yeah, hopefully, well, we will be back, just depends when. Back next week with the Saudi Arabia predictions. That'll be a bit more interesting. I'll have a bit more insight because I know a bit more about the fighters. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in. Drop a like on this video or a subscription even if you're feeling generous. And yeah, catch you next week. Thanks.